you got to say every man because there's some men that became women, like Bruce. As of the recording of this Behind the Podcast, I hope every man has had a happy Father's Day.
Every man that is a father.
No, every man, even if they don't, you got to say every man because there's some men that became women, like Bruce. Do you still say Happy Father's Day to Bruce, even though he's recognizing as a female now? Or do he get recognized on the Mother's Day side? Where is Bruce recognized at?
That's just greedy. You gonna get Mother's Day and Father's Day?
That's not fair.
Yeah.
But that ain't where I wanted to start at.
You report that.
It's a lot of hate, though. You know what I don't like? Because there are mothers who are deadbeats, too, right? But for some reason, on Father's Day, this is the only day that women tend to want to celebrate deadbeat dads. And I'm not saying it's a celebration. No, I be feeling the sting of this even though I'm not a deadbeat father. Because I just wanted to be peaceful. Just like it's peaceful on Mother's Day, I needed to be peaceful. This goes into the line of disrespect that I say that everyone in the country has for fathers. When we driving on the street, we just cruising and bruising. There is more Mother's Day stands on every corner. But on Father's Day, we cruising and bruising.
Just like you need reservations for restaurants on Father's Day, you can just walk somewhere.
No one is on the internet coming up with posts about you a deadbeat father or this and that. Like for instance, one example, right? Devin Haney has a baby with some Latino chick, right? I don't know her name, but she's popular. But from what I read, right, she was like, I don't feel like it's okay, and I'm paraphrasing, these are not her exact words, but I don't feel like it's okay to celebrate a father who isn't present, right? So Devin Haney normally doesn't ever respond to these type of things. But today, right, he shouldn't have. Dude, you could have responded tomorrow. You could have responded the next day. You had weeks past today.
No, she put it out today on his. So
I don't like the women who use the child as a way to grab for a money grab, basically, right?
Okay.
And he basically said he's not a deadbeat father. He said the problem with her is he can't see his child unless he has some money. And he said that's why he's taking it the legal route and he's putting it up to the courts to decide whether he has how much visitation or time that he has with his child. And then it got me to thinking, while he thinking he's getting on social media and he's clearing up the air for himself, I personally think he's making himself look even worse.
Wow.
Because I got, even with women who, even the men, even like when women complain about deadbeat fathers, there were plenty signs prior to you deciding to shack up and make a baby with this person that he may not have been the most responsible person. The same with females. There were plenty signs before you got with this chick and said, I'm going to make a baby, that she might be a gold digger. And her motives might be, her intentions for this relationship might not necessarily be about the baby, but more about the money. And because she had the baby, she forced now her hormonal instincts kick in. And now she's forced to love a child that she really didn't want.
She should have aborted it. But she knew if she aborted it, she wasn't going to keep getting no money.
Listen, at
the end of the day, I feel as though any person, even if you really think about it, right? If a male or the female, you sit down and have unprotected sex, there's a possibility there's going to be a baby out of that situation. People trap people all the time. But to say
I don't even think
somebody is a deadbeat, if this person is financially, like real life, if this person is financially footing the bill to provide for this child, even if it's court ordered, not court ordered, and they are paying, does that make them a complete deadbeat? Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, if you put this person on child support, right, and you they don't do this, they don't do that, X, Y, and Z, whatever, if that person just don't want to be in that child's life, but they're I don't have time for the child, but I'm still going to pay to make sure that homie got what they need when they need it, because I'm giving you the money for it, does that completely make them really a deadbeat? Because if you think about it, if they was like, nah, I ain't paying child support, you ain't getting nothing, no way, now, yeah, that's a deadbeat, a real life deadbeat. But if that person is court, well, even if it's court ordered, so what? If you taking money from that person, does that really make them a real life deadbeat? Like, and if you don't want anything to do with that person, you saying that person a deadbeat, why get child support? Why not support the child on your own? Why do you need the money?
I don't think she was calling him a deadbeat. She basically said he was an absentee father. But he's basically saying that's not the choice. That's not a decision he's choosing. That's a decision that's being made for him.
He don't, and that happens with a lot of people. When the other person don't want the other person, it's mostly the females that do it. It seems though. If the man don't want the female, they can't see the child. And that ain't fair, because you doing that shit, you gonna be the one mad when the hot girl summertime come and he like, nah, I ain't been getting him or her, so why you need no? Like, as he will always say, and it is true. Once you have a child, it's no longer about you. It is about that kid. So to keep that child from that mother or from that father is just wild. And kids will eventually grow up to be able to make their own decisions and see stuff for what it is. Kids are very intelligent.
You know what I don't understand about them? I promise you, they never are doing none of this until we start recording. I'm talking about every time. I just hate that they choose to do this stuff on Father's Day instead of June 13th, or any other day before Father's Day, or do it on Mother's Day. Let's call out the deadbeat moms on Mother's Day. But it's not a parade though. But boy, as soon as Father's Day come up and boy, everybody want to give the fathers and wishing them everybody got to pull up all the bad stuff. I was listening to church today, right? And I thought, man, Pastor did his thing on the sermon, y'all, as we recording, like we recording ahead of the day. But I just want to pass the same motivation. But Pastor was like, man, he said in his prayer, he said, man, I think my father did a good thing. I just choose to do the opposite of what he did. And when you start looking at it like that, that's motivation in itself. Because you got too many times that you grow up with an absentee, your parent, the father ain't around, or even in the case the mother ain't around. And sometimes you tend to use that as an excuse to just be a butthole throughout your entire life. When the reality is, you gotta look at the bright side of things. If that person was around and the dysfunction of that same person was around, that dysfunction could be created in you. I feel like I escaped a bullet. Literally. Like, really. I feel like the best thing that could have ever happened to me is not being raised by my daddy and my mama. Unfortunately. Who knows how my life would have turned out if I had been raised by one of those people. And I say people not to be disrespectful, but the reality is, like, they ain't got it all. And I'm sure somewhere there deep down inside, my uncle tell me all the time, boy, you probably ain't got it all either, but you did escape a bullet. But no, I just hate it on Father's Day, man. Every time, boy, you get on social media and we can't be celebrated just a little bit. The people who are actually doing what they're supposed to do to get grouped into that same mess, even if they ain't really grouped into it, it's the fact that I see it, because I feel like it's a slap in the face.
I've seen on social media a lot of single dads who are taking their kids to, like.
I just found out about one. A real close friend of mine. I call him. He's basically family. He literally was forced to become a single dad. Like, he can't work. He has to be a glorified babysitter because he can't afford to play child care, so he can't get a job, because if he get a job, who gonna have his child? And I started judging
sacrifices, baby.
In my mind, though, I started judging that, and then I had to, like, humble myself, because I was like, it's been plenty of times I've sacrificed for my kids. Extra money, not taking a job, losing jobs. And I'm not saying that to say that I lost a job, but I commend every father, whether you a single dad or you in a partnership with the mom or you married, you spouses, that actually step up and they make a commitment to be the best parent that they possibly can be. Screw being a father and screw being a mother. I'm just saying, just being the best parent, the most active parent. And a couple things Pastor talking about, everything ain't got to be about the value. Like, teach your child just to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. Teach them about joy.
Yeah.
Don't teach them about the biggest things of.
I gotta listen when Pastor preaches, because he make it so easy.
Because you have, and it was just like, when you think about it, you have people who are like, I got the latest. Like, now, the biggest thing now are Landmans. The tennis shoes, the skater shoes, the big shoes, the bulky shoes with the big shoe strings and stuff, whatever. Purple jeans and things of that nature. you're spending hundreds of dollars on these things, and then somebody will get a pair from Shein or DHgate, whatever. Get shoes from other places, and then people will be like, "Oh, that's a knockoff. That's this. That's that." But your shoes fit. Like the watch still works. You get what I'm saying? It's things that like people look at the name brand, and you're just paying for the name, but they're completely the same thing, just purchased from a different site. And we put our kids into this materialistic world where it's like you have to have these things to be this person, and not put them in a place of wealth with knowledge, education, because you have the most glamorous dressed up boy or girl, but they dumb as heck. Like they can't read, they can't write, they can't articulate anything, but they fly. But it's, again, us as parents put our kids in positions and set them up for failure when we don't look at the bigger picture of what's going on in the world, and we just continue to let the kids live within the shenanigans and what's hot in the world. And yeah, he spoke nothing but straight facts of when you have a child and you decide to keep that child, that is your responsibility. You can't get mad at nobody else. The mother can't get mad at the dad, can't get mad at the mom when they decide that they don't want to do their part. You just have to do your part because you decided to take on this child. And it's like...
But you also can't sit back and get mad when the father or the mother reveal exactly who you knew them to be. And now all of a sudden it's a problem. No,
you just learn from your mistake and don't do it again.
But I'm saying, though, if they ever revealed themselves prior to you becoming a parent with them, then like...
But you have people who... Okay, prime example. I never saw myself with no kid. I never thought that having my children has changed who I am as a person. Just like you never saw yourself being like, I'm going to be a daddy and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Once we found out we were having a kid, it's like, okay, this is what it's going to have to be. We're going to have to figure this out. We're going to make stuff shake, and we're going to have to... There's no handbook on parenting. But I feel as though we have to start getting out of the blame of the woe is me.
Who the hell is in that?
I'm saying it's the people in general. Not we got to get out the woe is me. You know, I had a baby. The baby daddy ain't this. The baby mama ain't that. Look, the child is here. You just want to do what's best for the kid. People stop having kids thinking you going to keep somebody or for financial gain, and the kids be the ones that suffer. That's not fair. You have so many people out here killing their children.
Speaking of killing their children,
because
I got a story
of a male or because of a female not wanting to be with them or whatever the situation, they resenting that child. Like, it's getting out of hand. And I don't know how. Just like this lady, she killed her and her son, and he was autistic because she was like, she didn't want to continue to be a burden on her husband because she felt as though they were a burden on him, and now he can live his life. Like, that's some harsh, like, that's harsh. Like, I commend any parent who has a special needs child and continue to get up every day and provide for that child and continue to make sure that child is well taken care of no matter what you going through. I commend you. I really do, because work with adults with disabilities and knowing what you have to do that, and just the thought of, you know, the parents got in a position where they could no longer do it, so they had to hand, like, I couldn't, I don't know. That's one right there for me. Y'all are really superhuman. I don't know if I could do that one. You know, you think you'd be able, if your child had a disability, like a real serious, would you be able to handle that?
Yeah.